and welcome on this new Coach Live Academy Help Guide. I'm Corentin Guinez. We are here for the week 7 of the Falcons podcast series, and as you can see, we are using the AMG GT4 and we are on Sandown. And as usual, first hot lap, and then we're gonna go together about the details about the combo. So, yep, let's get started. Alright guys, so here we go for the lap around Sandown with the AMG GT4, and as you can see, quite a long straight actually, so pretty good to have a chance at the end of this one with the draft as well. So then you can have another take on the guy at the front of you. And then for the T1, just looking at the 100-meter board, but I'm also looking at the white wall on the right side. So this is the two things I'm looking for when I arrive on T1. So just looking pretty much at the end of the wall, and as soon as I'm getting past the end of the white wall, then I'm going on the brakes, because if you brake on the 100-meter, I think it's too late. It's tiny bit too late with the GT4. So the idea there is to brake just when you get past the white wall. So as you can see, just going to the right, crossing the yellow line. So basically just putting half of the car on the right side of the line, and the other way, the other part of the car on the left side. And then as you can see, just going on the brakes, pretty every braking zone, just trying to get as close as I can from the right, so then it gives me the best angle possible to enter the left hander, which is T1. Still on the brakes, and then as soon as I'm getting close of the corner, as you can see, when I'm pretty much getting near the right curb, just releasing the brakes, as you can see, just trying to find the rotation, just trying to hold the brakes as much as I can, because as you can see, it's going a bit off camber. So if I just release the brakes too early, then I will just get quite a lot of understeer. So idea is to make sure that you can really hold the brakes until you reach the apex, and then as soon as you reach the apex, just going back on power, just trying to make sure that I'm not going too wide basically on the exit, because you have quite a big curves on this track. So then if you go too wide, you will just do a sort of skate on the curbs, and then you will lose some time. So as you can see, just waiting a little bit until going flat out, and then I can go on the curbs like this. It's fine, but if I was on the curb before that, I would have lost time. There, I haven't lost that much time, because I've managed to keep a lot of momentum on the exit, and the curb is a bit less is a bit flattened, even if it's not really flat at all. But yeah, it's less curved, I would say. So yeah, you can get a bit of curb on the exit, like even almost taking all of the curbing on the exit. But the idea there is to make sure you are not going too wide early on, and not going too early on the curbs, otherwise you will just lose time and skate on the curbs. Then as soon as you are off T1, just putting the car to the left, and then as you can see, you have that sort of exit road. So the idea there is to make sure that you can go on the left before you are crossing this exit road. And the idea there is to, for me, brake when you just arrive at the beginning of the exit road. So as you can see, on the left, and then as soon as I'm getting close of the exit road, going on the brakes. Not a big braking zone, because you have to really find the rotation really early on for the the chicane. I guess it's a chicane. Then, as you can see on the brakes, around 50%, I guess, and then just turning in. Then just trying to take as much curb as I can on the entry because it's really important. Otherwise, I will just compromise quite a lot the exit of the chicane. This is the most trickiest part of the track, by the way. So yeah, the idea is to make the things a bit easier by really getting the most I can from the first one. So then I can really make sure I can get a very good exit for the chicane, and then I can have a good entry for the left, which is basically where you have the marshals right there. So as you can see, it's still on the brakes, trying to bring the car to the into the corner on the brakes, and as you can see, I'm taking quite a lot of curbing. So then I can really make sure that I really get the best exit possible and have a bit a bit smaller amount of steering angle, I would say, for the left one. And same when the idea is to make sure that when you are landing from this curb, you have almost like no steering angle, I would say. It's still tricky because you have to be really quick on the steering, so it's really tricky to find that right timing where you land from the curb and have the steering straight. But yeah, if you can do that, it's perfect because then you can make sure that you won't really upset the car. And same like with the total input, as you can see, I'm just trying to stay almost with the same steering input, not trying to put too much on off, otherwise you will really upset the car. And it's not really good, like if the car goes completely to the front when you are just getting close of this one. Like if you basically release the throttle too much, then the car will just move to the front, and then you will most likely hurt quite a lot the entry with the front splitter hitting the curb. So yeah, just make sure that you are staying most of the time with the same throttle input. So yeah, then back to the car. So as you can see on the brakes, trying to bring the car on the brakes into the corner. Then as soon as I'm getting just before the curb, as you can see, I'm going on throttle. So now on throttle, and I'm not even on the curb. So just putting the throttle just before the curb, and from now, just trying to make sure I can keep the car stable. So basically, like I said, trying to make sure the steering is straight when I'm landing from the first curb, and keeping the same throttle input, and then same, just trying to take as much curb as I can, because then if I'm going too wide, I will compromise quite a lot the exit, and then I'm gonna have to basically slow down. So as you can see, just trying to take as much curbing as I can, and then on the exit, need to be a bit patient, because as you can see, it's quite a lot bouncy, but you cannot really do much about this, to be honest. So yeah, you just have to make sure you can wait until the car is really stable, and then you can move the car to the right, go on the curb, and this corner is actually pretty tricky. So as you can see, I will just brake as soon as I'm getting on the curb, pretty much. So as you can see, going on the curb, and as soon as I mount the curb, just going on the brakes. The idea there is to not brake too much, because it's really easy actually to lose the car or to have some sort of lockup on the rear tires. So you have to make sure you are not pressing too much the brakes. So I guess I'm staying under 60 or 65%. So yeah, just make sure you are not going more than that. Otherwise, you will really feel that the car is moving quite a lot on the rear chain. So yeah, just make sure that you are not braking too much basically onto this one, because then you have a long straight. So then if you compromise a lot the entry, then it's gonna be really difficult to stay close of the cars at the front or keep the cars brand new. And same for the quality, it can hurt quite a lot the lap time, because then you have that long straight, and then you have to carry the speed you had in the straight into the yeses. So yeah, it's pretty much really painful if you really like miss the entry of this one, or really compromise the entry of this corner. So yeah, just make sure that you are not braking too much. That's why you have to brake maybe a bit earlier on to this one, because it really helps you actually to keep the car stable and really prepare the entry, so then you can have a really good exit. So as you can see on the brakes, and then just trying to bring the car into the corner, second gear, then just trying to avoid the curb on the inside. For me, it just feels like it's the way to go to avoid the curb. So as you can see, really close of the curb, not taking a single bit of curb. And then as you can see, just early on power, just even before I'm into the corner, just going on power to find the rotation, because then I'm just going too slow to really find the rotation out of the brake. So I need to find the rotation another way, and I'm doing it with the throttle as usual. And then, as you can see, just need to make sure you manage the throttle on the exit to not get any sort of wheel spin. With the AMG, you need to be a bit more careful in the quali, because most of the time the AMG is a little bit more happier, I would say, on the rear train when you are into the quali compared to the race. So you just have to make sure that you are a bit more aware when you're driving and when you're getting out of the corner on traction, because it's easier to get some sort of wheel spin and put the car sideways. So as you can see, just trying to manage the throttle as soon as the steering is straight and the steering is open, can just go flat out, use a bit of curb, but just trying to not go too wide, because like I said, like T1, if you go too deep on the right, then you're gonna have some sort of skate on the curb. So the idea there is to make sure you can really keep a bit of a margin, even if I think with the MG it's fine. But with the Porsche, for example, it's easier to really skate on the curbs. I guess the AMG is a bit better about this, but yeah, with the Porsche it's a bit trickier about the big curb. So yeah, I think the DMG gives a bit more forgiveness about that, but yeah, just make sure that if you drive the Porsche instead, just make sure you can at least keep the right wheels on the edge of the curb and not going too wide. So then you have that long straight, like I said. So we have a good exit because we really prepared the entry. Then you have that sort of king, but it's fully flat out, going through the gears. So putting fifth, I don't think I'm gonna have to put sixth gear. Then you have to put the car to the right. So just looking now at the 50-meter board on the right side, and then as you can see, I'm just gonna use this exit road and the end of it. So then I will put the car just basically the right wheels on the right side of the white line. So when I'm getting past the exit road, as you can see, putting the car on the right, as you can see, right wheels on the right side of the on the right side of the yellow line. And also you can see that I'm using a little bit of grass, even if it doesn't feel like I'm really using grass on the entry, but it seems like I'm using a bit of grass, but it doesn't really disturb the car, it seems. So you can maybe do that, but yeah, just make sure you're not going too wide, obviously, because then at some point you can maybe lose the grip. So yeah, just make sure that you are at least using as much as you can of the track on the entry. And then as you can see, as soon as I'm getting past the beginning of this track extension, I can call it like that, I guess, or a bit of runoff, sort of runoff. There is a sort of deep right there um, when you arrive on this part of the track. So as soon as I'm into the deep, just going on the brakes. So as you can see, going into the deep on the brakes, and then I'm just trying to not brake too much because I really need to carry the speed. So this one, and the idea is to really aim for the curb, and maybe even more as well. On the inside, you can clip a little bit of grass, which actually helps you to find as well the rotation. And actually, it's not making you lose any grip, so pretty useful. And as you can see, just using the brakes to find the rotation. And from now, when I'm on the curbing, just using the curbing, going on throttle to find the rotation. The curb gives you quite a lot of rotation, which is pretty good. And then you can just go back fully on power, just trying to make sure you can get as much curb as you can on this one. Basically, the idea there is to really be patient out of this one on throttle. So then if you are patient enough, you can out of it go fully on power. Just minimize the steering angle, because when you go through this part of the track, you have to minimize as much as you can the steering angle, because if you arrive with too much steering angle, the fact that you have to go through a big curb then can make it really tricky with the bounce and stuff. So if you have the steering all over the place and it bounce, you will most likely lose the control, and then you have to go on the brake. So it makes everything too difficult, and then you will just have a longer brake distance if you are basically a bit out of control. So as you can see, trying to minimize the steering angle, even if you still have to have some sort of steering angle, otherwise you cannot make it work. But yeah, still I mean big steering angle. So as you can see, just getting as much curb as you can. I think track limit there is the edge of the curbing. So if the left wheels are not anymore on the curb, you will get a slowdown. But like this, it's fine. Like if you have even 1 centimeter of the tire on the curb, you should be fine. Then it's just about braking straight. So basically, as you can see, just putting the car straight, deep on the brakes, looking for the right side on the curb. And then as soon as I'm seeing the curb disappear, I will just turn to the right, release the brakes, putting second, just release the brakes as much as I can to find the rotation. And then as you can see, using the curbing on the entry, and then as usual, early on power to find the rotation. So as you can see, just before getting on the curb, like really early on power, trying to find the rotation, not going too deep into the throttle because I don't want to have some sort of wheel spin. And then as you can see, we'll try to quickly open the steering on the exit so then I can really optimize the traction, getting a bit of curb on the exit. Same, you have to keep a bit of a margin. Just don't go with the four wheels on the curb, but at least keep the left wheels away from the curb. And then we are almost done with the lap. Oh, sorry, we're gonna have the last chicane. We're gonna have the last chicane. Okay, we good. We back. And then we're gonna have the last chicane. So as you can see, just putting the car to the left, looking at the 50-meter board, and then you have to go on the brakes, not braking too much because obviously I want to avoid the ABS, which makes me go basically straight if I hit the ABS too much. Well, you always have to hit a bit of ABS, but what I mean is that if you brake way too much, then you will really feel the ABS, and then you're gonna go straight. As you can see, maybe 75% on the brakes, so a bit less. Then, as soon as I'm getting past this white line and close of the marshals on the left, just releasing the brakes, steering to the right, then just trying to get as much curb as I can on the right, but I don't basically put the left wheels on the curbing because most of the time it makes the car really bouncing quite a lot, really bounce quite a lot. So I'm not putting the left wheels on the curbing, just prefer to keep them away from the curb. And then as you can see, still on the curbs until I'm reaching the apex, just a bit of throttle on the exit, but not that much. As you can see, it's just about 1 or 2 frames, well, a bit more, but yeah, it's like about, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 meters of throttle. It's not that much, because then as you can see, the left one is coming really quickly, just behind the end. And as you can see, just trying to keep a bit of a margin, just trying to go too wide on the exit of this one, so I try to keep the car a bit on the right. And then as you can see, when the steering is back straight, going on the brakes, just waiting, trying to be patient, because it's really easy to carry too much speed and then go too wide on the exit, and it's really painful because it's a bit bouncy on the exit. So then if you basically go on the curb too much and too early, you will lose a lot of traction. So as you can see, just waiting to put the car and the steering straight, and then just going on the brakes, trying to hold the brakes until I'm reaching the apex to find the rotation, and then into the corner, going on power, trying to open the steering early on, so then I can go full power. And then as you can see, using the curbing on the exit, and then this is the run for the start finish line, and we're done with the lap around Sandown with the AMG GT4. Okay guys, so we're done today for the week 7 of the Fatcan Sportscar series with the AMG around Sandown. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Coach Dev Academy channel, and join the Discord server if you have any question about the work we're making. And I see you for the next week, week 8. Bye bye.